Another beautiful day in the garden. Good evening, everybody. All right, so last video went pretty well. Got a lot of questions about the avocado on different forums and stuff like that, so figured we might as well talk about it more. Arizona is one of the ones where it's a little harder with our heat out here to grow, especially stuff like the avocado. The rain last week really helped. I mean, today it's like these things are just, the wood chips are just so squishy. It feels like you're walking on a sponge out here, which in Arizona, it's hard to find that. So, what about the avocado? I mean, it's doing good. You got some really good leaves, and then you got some that are starting to churn out a lot of this brown. And from what I'm finding out about most of it and what we've experienced is it seems like it's pushing out salt. So if anyone knows anything about where we get our water from, it comes from the Salt River, and just like it says in the name, it's full of salt. So we got a real high salt content. So what you can do is, especially around this time of year, is add a little bit of sulfur. Add some sulfur pellets to the ground. It's like, add like a teaspoon for every square foot of ground you're putting it around. Just figure on how big, you want your drip edge of the leaves. Basically, you figure that's about where the roots are at right now. So put about that much, 4 square feet. Do 4 teaspoons of it. It'll help draw the salt out. And then what I like to do is also get the RO system water. If you got RO system, it helps filter out a lot of that salt. So what you can do is use that to pull out a lot of the salt, and it's really going to help improve it. I mean, you see we're still getting really great growth on a lot of this coming through. I mean, our winters aren't that harmful. I really don't know if I'm gonna winter protect it. Seems like it's doing really well right now without the winter protection. So I don't know if I want to winter protect this year or see how it fights with the winter. 'Cause this one and this one are both two of my more sensitive ones right now. But same thing here, we got growth. This is a mango, by the way. So we'll see how these two do. I mean, I don't think I'm going to protect them. Maybe I'll just keep them wrapped, if anything. Probably start adding some more wrap, because the growth on this thing was barely up to here when I wrapped it recently during the summer, and now I've got about another foot of growth. It's really a good grower. Fertilizing wise, I mean, I don't use any chemical fertilizers. I do my own composting. So I added that when I actually planted it. I added compost into the soil, compost, warm casting, and native soil. Do 1/3 of each, because you don't want to give it too much good nutrition, because then when the roots start expanding out to our native soil, they're not going to find all that goodness, and they're going to be spoiled. So it's going to make the tree a little weaker. So if you just do 1/3, 1/3, it's going to give it a little boost to help it when it goes through the initial shock of being put in the ground. But it will let it where it starts getting used to our soil, really start acclimating to the soil, and then eventually, I mean, she's gonna grow out and spread her roots really good. We have chickens here, so we let the chickens waste, either go in the compost or sit out in a separate area for a couple months, because the manure is hot. So you don't want to directly add that to the soil. It can give it basically a nitrogen burn, too much, you know, basically too much good at once. So let it sit out, you know, keep it watered and everything, mix it around, give it about at least 3 months, then just add it to the base of it. You'll end up watering it in, it'll soak in. But a lot of it, I mean, care for avocados, you don't have to do too much, but you really can't spoil them at first. When you start off with putting heavy amount of fertilizer and you change the whole soil in the bottom and everything, you're gonna basically make the tree weaker. I mean, you want a tree that is gonna be able to survive, you know, when you forget to water it, when you forget to feed it, you know, its nutrition, when you go on vacation. So when you spend all the time sitting here babying it in the beginning and doing too much for it, it's just like anything, it's gonna need that. It's not gonna look for it on its own, which really kind of hinders the growth of a lot of stuff. I mean, everything we put back here, we try doing just by itself. I mean, it's growing good. I mean, nothing gets any chemical fertilizers. This pear is the one that we're letting it go through a battle right now. And now it's just losing leaves and everything. For the winter time, it'll be fine. Come spring, it'll be popping back up. I mean, the growth on this, you can see where it's grown up. And that's just within the last year that we've had it in the ground. So it's been putting up a hard fight. We've been letting it fight on its own, really. Just like I said, a little bit of chicken fertilizer every once in a while, but you want to stick to feeding at least twice a year. Around March and so, I'll feed most of my trees the fertilizer, some compost, just natural stuff. And then probably about it, maybe September, feed them again. This one, this avocado, I'm gonna try feeding a little more, just because of, you know, it's more of a one that's on the I would say needy side. Needs a little more attention. The mango, same way, it's gonna need more attention. But I want to keep updating about these ones, showing. I mean, if you guys got questions, just put them in the comments. I'm trying to get into everything. I mean, like and subscribe, and we'll try to grow this channel and help each other out as much as we can. But I'm loving it. I'm hoping next year we'll get avocados. We had some baby ones form, but they just didn't set fully. So we're thinking next year we'll be able to actually pick some. I know I posted a video earlier about us picking some lemons. Lemons were doing great. But also, I mean, if you guys got anything going on that you guys want to post, send us links to anybody else's channel.